Hey guys, welcome to another Tip Tuesday. My name is Levi, and today I'll be showing you how to install the version 13 client from scratch with an MSSQL database. So this video is mainly geared towards anybody that has access to the database server. These are new customers that need to set up IndySoft from scratch. So they have access to the database server. So I'll be showing you how to create the database, how to create the SQL user, and then installing on a workstation. Okay, to start, we're going to go to the customer portal. If you don't have any credentials, we can set that up for you. You can just reach out to support@indysoft.com and we'll set you up with a login here. But for this video, I'm going to use the Commercial Lab Management, MSSQL. So from this, we're going to download this 64-bit installer. And we also have the MSIs and upgrade files if you need them. But I'm going to use the exe. And I actually have this installed, so let me go grab that. Alright, so once you have the installer installed onto the database server, and I do want to say it's not really necessary to install the client on the database server, but you do need to have this SQL script that's found in the installation folder. But we can also send this to you as standalone. You can just reach out to us and we can send you this SQL script here, but we need the Unicode script from here. So we'll go ahead and just run this installer. So you'll need to run this as administrator. So you'll need administrator level privileges on the workstation you're installing, but this is the database server. So we'll just go ahead and install on the database server so we can grab that script, but you can always ask us to send you that script if you need, because it's not really required to have the client installed on the database server. It's just up to you. But we'll let this initialize. Alright, so once that's finished loading, we can just step through these steps here. So these are going to be the same. This is going to be the same process you use on each workstation to install the software. But I'm showing you in advance in this video to get that script. But you really, for the database server, you just need that script. So I'm just going to, but I'll use this opportunity to show you how to install on each workstation as well. So we're going to go through this installer, accept the terms, pretty standard installation things, and this is the path that it'll install to on each computer. You can certainly change it if you need, but this is the default path. And then we're going to do it for all users, next, and then we'll let it install here. Alright, so now that this is finished installing, we can hit no here. No database server has been set up yet because we haven't set up the database yet, so we can hit finish. And then from here, we'll go to the database server. So while you're on the database server, if you installed it on here, we'll go to Program Files, IndySoft. We'll need to grab the database script here, this Unicode SQL script. So we'll open that up in SQL Server Management Studio. And then from here, we are going to create a new database for this. So we're going to right click on databases, new database, and you can name it whatever you want. So I'll just do test, and you can hit OK, and then we'll run that script against the database that we just created. So in this drop down up here, you'll select the database you created, hit execute, and I'll let that run. Now that the script is executed, we can create a SQL user. So this script just created all the database tables. So we have a fresh 13015 database. So now we'll create a SQL user. So in security, we'll expand that, right click on logins, create a new login, give it whatever name you like. And then we recommend doing SQL Server authentication. Give it a password. Make sure you save this somewhere. You have this on hand, because this is what every client will use to connect to. Just a single SQL user, they'll use these credentials. So we're not going to enforce password policy. And then user mapping, we are going to connect it to the database we just created, and then we're going to give it a DB owner. And you can do DB read write, but I believe you're okay with just DB owner. We'll just need to make sure they can write and read to the database. Alright, so once that is created, we should be good to go to connect on the client laptop. But one thing I have seen, one troubleshooting step if you can't we recommend having this. So in the SQL Server properties, we recommend having the SQL Server Windows mode on. And then there may be some, if you're having issues connecting still after that, there may be some firewall issues that the default SQL Server port you'll need to create an exception for that. But you can always reach out to us if you're having issues connecting. But for now, we'll go ahead and connect. So on the client laptop now, the one we just can run the installer like we did before. And then now we are going to go to, so we'll go back to local disk, program files, IndySoft, and then database settings. So you'll need to do this for each installation you do. But you can also use an INI file. I believe the previous Tip Tuesday shows you how to do that. So I believe if you put the INI file in the same directory as the installer, it'll lay it down, it'll automatically connect. But we can do this right now. So you need to put your SQL Server name, the database name as well, and then the SQL Server creds that we just created. And make sure that you have this Unicode DB option checked, and we'll need SQL Server authentication. So now we're going to go ahead and try to connect to that database. Give me 1 second here. And my apologies, but it looks like I accidentally selected deny data read, and we'll just need regular data, but you should be just okay with this, but not deny. We're not going to want to deny, but we'll need these enabled here. So now we should be good to go. So we'll go back to our database settings, test connection. So once you have a successful connection, you should be okay to launch the client. So we'll go ahead and launch the client here. And starting off from scratch, by default, there's just IndySoft and password. You can always remove that, change the password if you need later. But it's going to tell us that we need to register our client now. So you can go ahead and click yes. And then we'll use the IndySoft password. And we'll right-click the IndySoft Commercial Lab Management, add licenses. And then you can always register by the internet using your environment number, or you can register by phone. You can reach out to our support and we can help you out with that. But let me register this really quickly. All right, so now that you have a successful registration, we can go ahead and try to launch the client. So we'll open that up again. We'll use the IndySoft password. And then now it's going to tell us if we want to. So we'll just go ahead and hit next here. This is the initial setup for the software. You can add your company if you want, but you can always do this later if you need, but we can just add now. And we'll hit next. And then you're going to import this commercial lab configuration. So we'll go ahead and click import. Now that this is finished, we can disregard these initial errors. This is nothing to worry about. Just disregard that, and then we'll launch the software. All right, so now that we're logged in, this is completely connected. So we should be good to go after this. So you can just do those same steps for each laptop you need installed on. But for now, you should be good to go. So I showed you how to create the SQL Server database, the SQL user, and then run the installer. I hope you found this useful. See you again next week. Thanks.